You know that feeling right after a bad trade when your stomach tightens, your jaw locks, and you hate yourself more than the market? You close the chart, slam the mouse, and whisper, "What is wrong with me?" You didn't just lose money, you lost control. And that loss, it hits deeper than the red number on your screen. It's humiliation disguised as data. Here's the part nobody says out loud. Most traders aren't addicted to trading. They're addicted to self-punishment. Every loss becomes proof that you're not good enough. Every mistake becomes an identity crisis. But here's what you've never been told. That anger, that shame, that voice in your head calling you a failure, it's not random. It's chemical. It's historical. It's behavioral conditioning that started long before you ever opened a chart. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why you hate yourself after losing trades, why you keep repeating the same emotional cycle, and how to break free from it forever. Because this isn't about markets. It's about how you treat yourself when you fail. And if you don't fix that, no amount of strategy will ever save you. Every trader thinks they're battling the market. They're not. They're battling the person in the mirror after the trade. That person who can't sleep because of one stupid entry, who replays it 100 times in their head, who swears never again, only to repeat the exact same thing tomorrow. If that's you, this video is going to hit hard. Because we're not here to motivate you. We're here to rebuild you. Welcome to Disciplined Trades, where we rewire the trader's brain from the inside out. Here, we don't teach you how to trade better. We teach you how to think better. Because if you can't control your inner dialogue, the market will do it for you. Today, I'm going to break down 5 deep psychological traps that create the self-hate spiral. Each one backed by neuroscience, behavioral economics, and stories from real traders who blew up, not from bad setups, but from bad self-talk. And stay until the end, because the 5th one, the hidden guilt cycle, is the reason you keep sabotaging your own wins. It's the silent killer of consistency. Before we start, be honest. When was the last time you looked at your trades without judging yourself? Leave a comment with a simple number. How many times last week you felt angry at yourself after trading? No shame, just awareness. Because awareness is where every transformation begins. Number 1, the mirror effect. Why you hate what you see. Here's what's really happening when you rage after a bad trade. You're not angry at the market, you're angry at you. And not because of the money, but because the market just reflected something you've been avoiding. The truth, that you broke your rule again, that you didn't follow through, that you knew better but didn't do better. Psychologists call it cognitive dissonance, when your actions don't align with your beliefs. It creates psychological pain. Most people cope by lying to themselves. Traders, they punish themselves because trading removes excuses. There's no boss, no coworker, no external blame, only you. That's why the market is the most brutally honest mirror on earth. Every red candle whispers the same thing. You did this. But here's where it gets dangerous. That mirror doesn't show your true self. It shows your emotional shadow, the version of you shaped by old failures, old disappointments, old voices that said you weren't enough. When you stare at your profit and loss, you're not just seeing a number. You're seeing every time you felt powerless. A loss triggers memory. A memory triggers identity. The trade is gone, but the shame remains. The fix? Separate the act from the identity. You didn't fail because you are a failure. You failed because you're human. The market punishes ego, but it rewards honesty. Try this. Next time you take a loss, write one sentence. This was a bad decision, not a bad person. You'll be shocked how quickly the storm quiets. Number 2, the perfection trap. How unrealistic standards create real misery. Here's where it gets interesting. Most traders aren't chasing profits. They're chasing perfection. Every trade must be flawless. Every entry must be precise. Every loss feels unacceptable. It's not ambition. It's insecurity wearing ambition's clothes. Perfectionism is just fear. Fear of not being enough. And trading gives that fear infinite opportunities to speak. Let me tell you about Peter, a prop trader I coached. He had a 62% win rate, consistent profits, but he hated himself. Why? Because every losing day felt like failure. One red day erased 5 green ones. He wasn't trading markets, he was trading self-worth. We ran a simple experiment. For 30 days, he wasn't allowed to say good or bad about his trades, only executed or not executed. By day 18, he said something that stopped me cold. I realized my biggest stress wasn't losing money. It was disappointing myself. That's the perfection trap. Perfection creates impossible expectations. Impossible expectations create inevitable disappointment, and disappointment becomes self-hate. Want to know how professionals avoid it? They don't judge outcomes. They grade execution. Win or lose, if they followed the plan, it's an A+. If they didn't, it's an F. But it's not personal. The amateur asks, did I make money? The pro asks, did I follow process? One lives in emotional chaos. The other lives in control. Number 3, the emotional debt loop. Why every loss feels personal. Now we enter the real psychology. Every time you break your rule, you create what's called emotional debt. Like financial debt, it compounds. Each impulsive trade, each revenge click, each missed stop adds to the emotional balance sheet. Soon, you're not trading price action anymore. You're trading to repay guilt. I have to win it back. I need to prove I can do this. I can't end the week red. Sound familiar? That's not strategy. That's self-punishment disguised as discipline. Behavioral economists have proven this. After losses, the brain's amygdala activates the same circuits as physical pain. It's literal neural punishment. So you trade not for profit, but for relief. Relief from the guilt of breaking your own standards. And here's the cruel part. Even if you win the next trade, you don't feel better because you didn't fix the debt. You just paid interest. Real relief doesn't come from winning. It comes from forgiving. Let that sink in. Forgiving yourself is a trading skill because as long as you carry emotional debt, you'll sabotage your future trades to subconsciously balance the score. It's your brain's twisted way of restoring fairness. Write this down. I owe myself progress, not punishment. Every day you forgive, your emotional account resets. Number 4, the shame addiction. Why you can't stop beating yourself up. This one is dark, but crucial. You might not realize it, but part of you enjoys the pain. Sounds insane, right? But neuroscience confirms it. Shame releases dopamine. Not as much as pride, but enough to create a feedback loop. It's the same chemical mechanism behind toxic relationships. The brain learns pain equals attention. Attention equals meaning. So after every bad trade, you beat yourself up because it feels familiar. You've conditioned your nervous system to find identity in suffering. That's why you can't stop replaying mistakes. Why you scroll your profit and loss like a crime scene. Why you whisper, I'll never learn. Because deep down, you don't hate losing. You hate yourself for losing. And that hatred, twisted as it is, gives you something to hold on to. It's certainty. Pain becomes the only constant in an uncertain market. But here's the paradox. The moment you stop punishing yourself, your brain panics because it confuses peace with boredom. That's why calm traders feel uncomfortable. Their identity is wired to chaos. To break it, you need new associations. Replace self-criticism with self-inquiry. Not why did I screw up, but what did I miss? Not I'm an idiot, but my brain made a fear-based decision. Detach, observe, rewire. You're not a bad trader. You're just addicted to emotional volatility. Number 5, the hidden guilt cycle. Why you sabotage your own wins. This is the hardest truth in the entire video. You don't hate yourself because you lose. You hate yourself because you don't believe you deserve to win. That's the hidden guilt cycle. It's subconscious, silent, and deadly. I saw it firsthand in a trader named Malik. Every time he had a big winning week, he'd suddenly break rules. Oversize, overtrade, overreach. When I asked why, he said, I just get nervous when things go well. That's not nerves, that's guilt. Deep down, he didn't feel worthy of success. His childhood taught him that comfort meant danger, that peace meant something bad was coming. So when he won, his brain restored balance by creating chaos. Freud called it the repetition compulsion, the drive to repeat familiar pain even when it hurts, because pain feels like home. If you grew up equating achievement with criticism, your brain will find ways to self-destruct the moment you get ahead. You'll skip stops, overtrade, give it all back, not consciously, but emotionally, because part of you believes you don't deserve ease. You think you have to earn peace by surviving pain. Let me give you a new rule. You don't need to suffer to succeed. You need to heal to execute. The guilt cycle ends the moment you allow yourself to feel safe with success. When you stop treating consistency like fraud and start treating it like proof. Proof that you've evolved. Climax. Here's the part most people never reach. The emotional breaking point. That moment when you look at the charts, the losses, the sleepless nights, and realize the enemy was never the market. It was you. Not because you're flawed, but because you never learned how to forgive yourself. Look, anyone can learn indicators, but very few can sit with their own disappointment and not run from it. That's mastery. Every trader wants freedom, but you can't be free while you're at war with yourself. Freedom doesn't start when you make money. It starts when you stop needing punishment to feel in control. When you can lose and stay calm. When you can look at a mistake and not make it mean something about your worth. When you can end the day red and still say, I'm proud of how I handled that. That's when you've truly won. Because trading isn't about being perfect. It's about being peaceful under pressure. The charts will always test your discipline. But self-hate, that's the real margin call. You can't trade the markets until you stop shorting your own self-esteem. Breathe. You are not your last trade. You are the sum of every lesson you refuse to ignore. The market didn't beat you. It revealed you. Now, what will you do with that revelation? Let's recap what you just learned. You hate yourself after trades not because you're weak, but because you're wired. The mirror effect shows you pain you've avoided. The perfection trap makes every loss feel like failure. The emotional debt loop keeps you trading guilt, not setups. The shame addiction makes self-criticism feel normal. And the hidden guilt cycle convinces you success is unsafe. Now you know the pattern. The question is, will you keep repeating it or will you break it? Here's your next move. For the next 7 days, after every session, write one sentence. Not about price, not about profit, about how you treated yourself. That's your new performance metric. Because the trader who manages their emotions better than their positions wins. If this hit you hard, hit like. If you're ready to stop trading guilt and start trading peace, subscribe. We're just getting started. And drop a comment below. I forgive myself. That one sentence might be the trade that changes everything. In the next video, I'll show you my emotional cooldown protocol, the 5-minute ritual that stops revenge trading before it starts. Until then, remember, the market will test your strategy, but your reflection will test your soul. Stop fighting yourself. Start trading with compassion, because the calm mind always wins. See you in the next one.